Hey everybody, Justin here. Let's talk about something that I think all of us are going to grapple with at some point in time in our lives, be it through somebody else that we care about or ourselves. Depression. I think that depression is a very complex issue, and obviously I'm not a doctor, but I have grappled with it my entire life. In fact, even in my best of times, I've had more emotionally trying and difficult days to get through than I've had in some of the worst of times, quote unquote. One of the biggest things for me is that I have to find my purpose. And I think that everybody on this earth has a purpose. And I think that probably a big portion of all of our purposes is to help other people, if not the whole thing behind it, all right? Business is simply based on helping people meet the needs or desires or things that they just need to have done, all right? The business is based on this. In a major way, I think that depression is a very, very difficult subject to broach because there's the medical part of it. I think there's a spiritual part of it. There's like the medicinal part of it, or the pharmaceutical, kind of ways that a lot of people solve this. But there's a few things that I think help every single person out. And unfortunately, they're some of the first things to go when you start to feel depressed. Unfortunately, the weird part about it is when we get depressed, we fight against these answers. But they are, simply put, 1000% things that will help. Obviously, I'm not a doctor. Sometimes medicine is important. But I think if you had diabetes, would you simply and only treat it with insulin? Or would you also modify your diet, modify your health routines, modify other things that are important to do so that you are helping work alongside your medication? I think that's what we should do, Like I said, I've just dealt with crippling depression my whole life. Obviously, I've shared a bunch of times about my story. I was an addict for many, many years, and I think that most addicts, most people that have been through addiction understand the hopelessness, the shame, the guilt, the self-hatred, everything that goes along with it that causes people to behave that way. So, number one thing I definitely recommend, first and foremost, is to do some soul searching and kind of figure out what your purpose is. And I think that a big part of your purpose, like I said, is to help other people. And to help other people, we have to share things. We have to give what we have in order to get what we want. Whatever we give, we possess at a greater degree. So when we help give other people peace of mind, we will have greater peace of mind. When we help give other people comfort, we will have greater comfort ourselves. And I recommend the best way to do this is to start getting out of yourself and sharing your story. To start talking to other people about what you've been through and how you made it through it and where you're at now and how that's happening. Because you never know, they might have something that could help you. And if not, you never also know, they might say, hey bro, me too. Or hey sis, you know what I mean. But that's so important. You have to get vulnerable and share who you really are to the world. Secondly, this is something never anybody wants to hear, that nobody wants to hear when I say this, is to get some exercising, guys. There's so many natural chemicals your brain produces when you exercise, especially when you push yourself past that point where you feel like you can't go anymore. You get that runner's high, all those endorphins, serotonin, all that stuff pumping. It's incredibly good for you. All those people that go to the gym and then come out smiling are not doing it because they're faking it. They're doing it because they really feel better. And I can promise you, I tell you, as a person who didn't used to do that to a person who does that now, it's massive, okay? Finally, this is crazy important too, but people always want to overlook it. You have to get out. You have to start socializing. You have to be around other human beings. Your first thought is to isolate. But isolation kills you. Human beings are not meant to do this alone, all right? You're not meant to do this alone. Get around people who love you. Get around people who care about you. Share about your stuff. Get out and do the things that you don't feel like doing, because I promise you, the more you do the things you don't feel like doing, the easier it'll be to get to do those things. You may not like to go to work every day, but the purpose you'll find when you realize that that job isn't just to make money, it's to help support the family in the future and the things that inspire you that you want to do with your life. And once you start to realize that, all those steps get easier and easier. But most of all, it is a disease, in my opinion, of selfishness. As hard as it is to say that, I know a lot of people are going to be angry at me for saying that. But the reality is that a depressed person's mind is, why am I not happy? Why is this not how I want it to be? How come I don't feel fulfilled? How come I, me? And for us to get out of that, we have to go help other people. Start putting Other people first. Obviously, boundaries are entailed. Obviously, being healthy with those relationships is entailed. I'm not saying give your whole self away until you have nothing left, but I'm suggesting that you give away the healthy stuff, your story, the inspiration, the love, the caring, the kindness, the understanding, the empathy, all of those things. Give them freely to other people, and you will find that you get them more freely yourself. I love all of you guys. I hope you make it through. I know there's some people that are really struggling with this right now, and I hope this video helps you. Big love.